It is great to see you. I'm feeling good. Happy Wednesday night. Before we get into this, episode brought to you by Bet Online. The only people that don't get time off this year are pro athletes and us at Bet Online. With NFL pro season and NBA in full swing over the holidays, Bet Online isn't taking a second off to make sure you have all the up to second odds, news, and info.
BetOnline has all the sports wagering info available you need with both desktop and mobile access. Head there today to get into the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit.
What is going on, everyone who has already answered the chat? Nesto, Snow Cone, BC14. Harley, we are a couple of days away from facing the Cleveland Browns at home. And once again, we might be without our franchise quarterback, CJ Stroud. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, that's a tough one, bro. I really thought that this was just going to be a 1 week thing. And I thought, hey, okay, CJ Stroud will be back for the Browns game. No problem. This isn't going to be easy, man. This is going to be a tough game without CJ Stroud. Um, I hope the Texans can get a dub. Well, we'll see.
I hope so too. Now, the main thing that we got to focus on is who is going to be the starting quarterback on Sunday. Is it going to be Case Keenum or is it going to be Davis Mills? You brought up that Sean Bajani said that while he was at practice, he did see Davis Mills running first team reps. However, Aaron Wilson has said it multiple times so far this week. He expects Case Keenum to be the starting quarterback on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean it's getting the questions around all of local media, around other talking heads, whether or not Case Keenum plays this Sunday against the Brown. It definitely sounded like in his voice on Monday when he was with the Manning cast, sounded like he's going to play. Kind of just implying the tone of voice he was using. I mean, we can go in with it like this. Aaron Wilson broke that news at midnight whenever Case Keenum was announced to be the presumptuous starter for Sunday against the Titans. And, in that report, he had said that Case Keenum and Davis Mills both took starting reps
Mm.
with the ones, but Keenum that week got more of the reps. Now, all that means to tell me is just because Davis Mills is having first team reps doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be playing quarterback for you this Sunday.
Mm. Who would you rather have against the Browns? Case Keenum or Davis Mills?
I'd rather just stick with Keenum. If
Mm.
that was the decision last week, I mean, why flip flop it? Like obviously we all thought it was going to be Davis Mills for good reason. He's younger. I feel like someone that's a little bit more athletic.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought in this system he could be decent. I'm not saying great because Keenum wasn't great this Sunday, but he got you the win. And why not stick with him? Why change your decision? Makes it go, huh? Then why did they? Is it just based off who they're playing now? Like, I don't know, but I'd rather just stick with Keenum again.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you. However, I think this conversation is a little harder because you look at the defense you are going against. The Cleveland Browns, probably one of the best defenses in the NFL. I'm looking at mobility here. I'm looking at dudes who could extend plays if the offensive line doesn't do good. Hopefully, George Fan is back at right tackle this Sunday. He was there at
Facts.
practice today. We'll get the injury report in a second, but it, I do agree with you. Go with Keenum. He won you the game. He's been in big situations his entire career, but I do like Mills' mobility. Does he have something to prove? However, I'm with you, man. I am going Case Keenum.
Yeah, I mean, I think Keenum kind of disagrees with you in the game he played. In the second half, he was very mobile, actually.
Mm.
And he made some Keenum magic. He made some little case magic That play where he's scrambling, and yes, Dalton Schultz just makes a man's catch, but Case Keenum is the guy that's rolling around trying to make a play out of nowhere. He did it multiple times actually against the Titans defense. Obviously nowhere near the Browns defense.
Yeah.
That isn't Myles Garrett coming down his neck. Pause. But but breathing down his neck. Pause? I don't know. Breathing down his neck, people use it in football. Anyway, this man's frozen. Uh, and yeah, so I mean, we saw Keenum move very well,
Mm.
actually, for somebody that's a lot older than Mills. So maybe Keenum disagrees with you on the mobility part. He said,
Ooh.
I'm the old man, yeah, but I
Mm.
still got some wheels. He's got
But
some wheels on him.
hey, he's built for this.
He said
He's
it.
built for this.
He said it.
So,
He said it straight up like that.
and here's the thing, man.
Big pause.
Just the fact that he's an H-Town legend, man, makes me have confidence in Case Keenum. Once again, the city of Houston is on his shoulders. Now, before we continue, Jamie says Garrett only has 0.5 more sacks than Grenard, and Grenard has 20 more tackles. We got the better pass rush. I'm going to get into the
Whoa.
game a little bit. I'm feeling
Whoa.
confident. I'm feeling, I don't know, something inside my heart. It's feeling a little good. But Harley, let me give you the injury report for today's practice. Will
Okay.
Anderson Jr. did not participate. Neither did Blake Cashman,
Yeah.
Brevin Jordan, Shaq Mason, John Mechie, illness, CJ Stroud, Laramie Tunsil, but that's his rest day.
Yeah.
Jimmy Ward, concussion, limited. Noah Brown, Malik Collins, Nico Collins, welcome back. Denzel Perriman, Robert Woods, but that's a rest day.
Mhm.
Your full participants, George Fant, Steven Nelson. That is the injury report for today's practice. However, the real one is tomorrow's and Fridays.
Yes. Yeah. And hey, George Fant coming back, great. Thank you very
Huge.
much. I'll take that all day. No offense, Charlie Heck. I'll take that all day. I just realized that. I mean, no offense, Charlie Heck. But you notice they had to help Charlie Heck a lot more in that game, shading the running back over there, make sure people are chipping over on that side. And I'm not saying they don't do the same for George Fant, but I am more confident in Fant's ability than Charlie Heck.
Mhm.
Appreciate the one game you did, bud. But I need George Fant back there. I need this offensive line ready. And I'll say this, man. Hey, Jonathan Grenard. There, yeah, I was about to say that Texans 22. Jonathan Grenard. I mean, nobody's talking about him. And Myles Garrett's supposed to be Defensive Player of the Year.
Don't start this.
And hey, man, Jonathan Grenard's going. He's doing the John Travolta meme, like, and kind of looking around, like, hey, man.
Hit him with the Bill Crosby.
Oh, big pause.
Oh yeah, let
Man.
me
Bill
stop.
pause for Bill Cosby, bro.
Yeah,
No, not a name I thought was going to be on this podcast. And but Jonathan Grenard, he's been magnificent this year.
Mhm.
And it's always been a matter of health, right? I mean, Jonathan Grenard had himself a really good year under Lovie Smith's defense, I believe 2 years ago.
Mhm.
That's escaping my mind.
His second year, he had, I think, 8.5 sacks before he
Yeah,
went down.
and so he almost reached double digits that time. Again, it was just a matter of health for
Mhm.
him. He's healthy and he's doing a hell of a job. And hey, man, he's an underrated pick for Defensive Player of the Year.
I go back to his draft day. Bill Bryan yelling at the camera
Oh
on the
man,
COVID draft. But what we knew about Jonathan Grenard was with the Florida Gators, led the SEC in tackles for loss, led the SEC in sacks. This is a baller, and he has showcased that he can consistently get to the quarterback. And we are just seeing Jonathan Grenard enter the prime of his career. You are gonna have to drop the bag. You cannot let this type of homegrown talent leave
No.
you. Because when was the last time you had a player like Jonathan Grenard on this Houston Texans team? It's been since J.J. Watt that you had
Yeah.
someone this good at getting to the quarterback. He deserves 20 million a year.
Yeah, I believe you. I'm right there with you, man. I mean, we haven't had what dominant edge rushers like this since what Connor Barwin, Brooks Reed.
Ooh,
You
you're
know, like
going
Brooks Reed
back.
rookie year Brooks Reed. Like, and I
Oh, he
know
was
Will
fantastic.
Anderson's. Yeah. Will Anderson's, sack numbers obviously, aren't as high as everybody wants him to be, but he's still been dominant. He's still been a force. The duo of him and Jonathan Grenard for the future, yeah, sign me up. Anyone at LA Knight, yeah,
Yeah.
sign me up for that, man. Come on now. And so we could have this great conversation. Jonathan Grenard and Will Anderson, duo defensive ends. Are they a potentially? We won't say right now
You're gonna say
because
top
Will
10?
Anderson's rookie, but are they potentially not even top? Okay, we'll stick with top 10. We'll stick with top 10. Top 10 duo edge rushers. Like, I mean, I could make a case potentially if you keep Grenard. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
are they going to be knocking on the door for a top 5 edge rushing duo in the NFL?
I mean,
This is crazy, right?
it's hard not to see the potential. It really
Right.
is. You had John DeGrenard show you that he could get sacks with Will Anderson, without Will Anderson Jr.,
Yes.
and Will was just coming into his own. Pause.
Yeah.
I think he had a stat where it was 4 sacks in 5 games or 4 sacks in 3 games. Like,
Yeah.
these guys are getting to the quarterback. And just think about next year when you have Will Anderson Jr., Malik Collins, Justin Matabuke, and Jonathan Grenard. And then you sprinkle in a little JJ Watt 1 year deal.
This guy would.
Ow! He was on the Pat McAfee show again today talking about the Houston Texans building something special.
He's been saying
Hey,
that all year.
that's fine. He can keep on saying that thing. Once that offseason hits, he's going to get the itch. Once he sees what we do, he's going to get the itch. Hey, he already had it. We saw him just tease for like, what, a 3-week span of him potentially coming back. You could put that eyebrow right there. You know my feelings on JJ Watt. And for me to say he might come back next year, that is insane. But no, Jonathan Grenard, Will Anderson Jr., I could definitely see top 10 edge rushing duo. I could definitely see top 5. These two are just getting started. You have Jonathan Grenard by another prime in his career, and Will Anderson Jr. is going to get it going, man. There was a reason why he was called the Terminator at Alabama.
Mm.
3+ years, over 900 snaps. This dude doesn't come off the field. He's great on defense. He's getting to the quarterback. I'm excited for the future of these two.
Yeah, it's fantastic what we got building here with the defense and D'Amico Ryans. It's great to have these conversations again. Like it's
It's fun, bro. It's fun.
yeah, man, it's fantastic to finally get back into a conversation like this. Like, we already know the history. We've dawned on it too many times on the podcast. But I mean, D'Amico has just came in here and absolutely turned around a bottom 5, the worst rushing defense against a run defense in the NFL into a top 10, run defense, and that is not just Will Anderson, but it takes a village, right? The
Mhm.
swarm mentality is working here in H Town, and it's fantastic to have these conversations again.
It's like conversations of hope, because the conversations we had last year were like, oh, you think this team could win 5 games? Do you think this team could win 6 games? Now we're
Maybe,
talking about top 10,
yeah,
top 5 edge rushers. Now we're talking about postseason. Now we're talking about first place in the AFC South. And dude, okay, also shout out to Texas 22, new YouTube channel that just started, hosted by VT and Leo. Do a fantastic job. But going back to what you said last week, the amount of experience we are getting right now in year one.
Yeah,
I mean, how many close games have we played all this year? I mean, excluding the
we
Jets, I could say every single game has almost came down to the wire.
yeah.
This team is going to be ready mentally, not only the coaching staff, but the team as well, or whoever's still here. This team's going to be dangerous in 5 years, man. I'll say it in 3.
Dangerous in 3 years. They're
Like,
gonna be dangerous next year.
I'm tired. Yeah, okay. I'll give you that.
I
What's going
mean,
on,
let's be
Tano?
real. Like, you got C.J. Stroud and company. As long as you got 7, you're gonna have D'Amico Ryans. You have a big year in terms of cap space. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, these are the next few years are the years you want to capitalize, obviously, because C.J. Stroud is on his rookie deal. So yeah, the Houston Texans, they're going to be dangerous, and they're going to be competing at the top of the AFC, not the South, the AFC in
Mm.
general. They're going to be being with the elite, and they're going to be actually legitimate elite, not that fraudulent elite like the Jacksonville Jaguars.
DJ Rocket B, shout out to you, DJ. I see you on TikTok all the time. I think Case pulls a rabbit out of his hat one last time on Sunday.
Alrighty.
Go Tex. I mean, does lightning strike twice? Does miracle happens 2 weeks in a row? History tells us no, but I don't know, man. I feel like everything we've done for the H has been a success. And
It's true.
you are gonna be in the H. I hope NRG is gonna be jam packed. I will be there at the game. You're gonna see me with this one piece flag in the back. That's how you're gonna know that it is
Oh,
me.
oh,
I
oh.
need NRG rocking. I need it, Harley. If you see me leave this game with my voice like this, I failed.
Yeah, you did a horrible job.
I did a horrible job. I failed.
Yeah,
I
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
am NRG needs to be rocking on Sunday. And just think how many people will be bought in even more if you if you see Case Keenum win back to back games. One on the road against Tennessee, your division rival, and then one against one of the best defensive in the NFL.
Yeah, man. Sorry. I was reading Louis' question
Shout out to Louis.
when you were saying that, and it had me thinking about it. And I'm like, uh, how about both?
We could afford both.
You can afford both. Like, this is the luxury you have right now. You can afford both, and there's no problem in affording both.
Mm-mm.
There's nothing guilty about it. Go do it, Texans. Go, Nick Casario. Go ahead and spend that money, baby. Go ahead. Flump that money. Make it rain in the club, man. Come on down with it, Nick Casario.
Shout out to the Show
Bags of
Palace.
money. Come on down with the bags of money, man. Hand it to Grenard, Malibuike. You want some of this money? You want to come play with H-Town? You want to come play with D'Amico Ryans and company? Have a swarm mentality. We know you're
Mm.
doing your thing in Baltimore. We understand that.
What does swarm
But
mean?
come on, man.
Mm.
D'Amico Ryans and company.
Mm.
Will Anderson,
What?
Grenard with you.
What?
Malik Collins
What?
playing lights out.
What?
C.J. Stroud being top 5 quarterback.
What?
MVP candidate.
What?
Next year we're gonna be dangerous.
What?
The Jags are frauds.
What?
The Colts are lame.
What?
The Titans are bums.
What?
The Texans are going to win this division.
What?
Fairbairn Special Teams Player of the Week.
What? Welcome back, Fairbairn.
Come on now.
Hey,
Come on now.
one of the top 10 kickers of all time in terms of field goal percentage. Now, Harley, as we look at this game against the Cleveland Browns, Case Keenum versus Joe Flacco, and I have to be honest with you, the Browns fans are feeling themselves. They think this is going to be an easy dub. They think they're going to walk into NRG with their number one defense and take over the game. They don't know the type of defense that D'Amico Ryans had last week where we got to the quarterback 7 times. I mean, I'm loving my chances on Sunday.
Yeah, you have a bit more optimism than I do.
Mm.
I just I know how good the Browns defense has been, but I will say this.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Cody Johnson.
Who?
That boy Cody
That
Johnson,
boy
man, not the country
Cody
singer.
Johnson.
That boy Cody Johnson on Twitter. Make sure to be following at FB_Lone Star.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
he he brought up a great point
And
that
he's been telling this is for months.
yes. Wait. Okay, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you're about to say. He's been telling us about the Browns for months.
Oh, okay. Well, I was specifically going to talk about their defense on
Mm-hmm.
the road,
Okay, go ahead.
and he did say that they are night and day. Home defense versus road defense is night and day. They give up 350 yards a game on the road.
Mm.
And look, I know we don't got CJ Stroud, but if there's any glimmer of hope for me with Case Keenum and company staying here in NRG and trying to take down the 9-5 Browns, I'll take on any, I'll cling on to any hope that Cody is going to present me with. And that right there gave me hope.
Yeah, I
That
did,
right there
honestly.
made, yeah, that right there made me go, oh, wait a minute. So this defense plays really good at home and
Elite.
not good on the road? Is that what you're saying? Oh, you
Exactly what you're saying.
are. Interesting. All I'm saying is one of the best defensive players in the NFL, TJ Watt. Hey, Ruben, how many sacks did he have against us?
0.
And Austin Deculus and the crummy offensive line you had in that Steelers game, I'm going to bet the Houston Texans game plan, their scheme, their offensive line
Mm.
does the same thing to Myles Garrett.
LT versus Mike Garrett. Shout out to CMDSR, our roundtable guy. He supports the Colts, Harley. He is from Colts Nation.
I was wondering why I stunk up in this chat.
But you're predicting this offensive line to do good on Sunday.
Yes, man, absolutely. They have continuously done it week after week, even with less talent in the offensive line. There's no way you had that offensive line against the Steelers, and all I heard about was the vaunting defense of the Steelers and the defensive line, and they gave up 0 sacks. And now you're telling me the O line is relatively healthy to this point of the year. The best 5 you want out there, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And you telling me they can't hold them to 0 sacks? I
They've done
mean,
it before.
LT has done it consistently against Myles Garrett too. Like he takes this little matchup personal, it feels like, because he's done extremely well against Myles Garrett to the point, like I mentioned on our last podcast, I do think Myles Garrett's going to be up for this game, and I think LT's going to get him one more time, man.
You think it's going to
I
be a
think so.
donut?
I think so, man.
So why do you not think the Texans are going to win this game if you think the offensive line is going to shut out that D? Because
I
then,
never said that. Never
okay.
said that.
Well, let me
Never
finish.
said.
Let me finish.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I also look at Joe Flacco. Everyone's impressed with the yards. Okay. I see 4 interceptions in the last 2 games, 3 of them against the Bears. I see 4 sacks, 8 quarterback hits. I said it a couple of weeks ago. I think we both said it. This D'Amico Ryan's defense, it's really starting to form into the swarm mentality that he has been preaching since the offseason. And we saw it on full display against Tennessee. Now, in one of the spaces on Twitter today, the Browns fans were saying how they were out so many offensive linemen. The only guy they've had consistent all year was Wyatt Teller. And I feel like this will be an advantage for this Houston, Texas defensive line. What was going on, Izzy 26 Bless? Shout out to you representing Houston at the round table last night. But I think this defense destroys Joe Flacco. I think we get another 1 to 2 interceptions from him. I think we get set up nicely in great field position. And man, once again, use Devin Singletary as your primary offensive weapon. If Nico Collins is not there, hopefully he is there. But I'm feeling good, man. I am really feeling good about this weekend.
At least Aaron Wilson did mention that he is trending upwards
Mm-hmm.
with Nico Collins is trending upwards to play this Sunday. Excuse me, had that flipped. So hey, I'll take trending upwards. I hope he plays. He should play this Sunday. I do heard on the radio. I did hear on Texans radio. Shout out to Mark Vandermeer and Andre Ware. Fantastic call. Can't get enough of that call against the Titans. But anyway, they did say before the game that Nico Collins, John Harris was saying that Nico Collins was actually running routes before the game, doing stop and goes, quick hitch routes, trying to work out the calf and the legs,
Mm-hmm.
and he was he actually looked pretty decent. He looked like he could have probably played if they really wanted to force it, but they
Mm-hmm.
didn't, and they sat him out. So I'm expecting Nico Collins to be healthy this Sunday, and that bodes well for a talentless, a lack of offensive talent right now for the Houston Texans. And I know you just had this great game from Devin Singletary. You need a repeat performance. You had this great defensive game against the Titans. You need a repeat performance.
Mm.
Like D'Amico, you need to do it again, bud. And I hate to say that. Obviously, we want him to coach every game great, but we need everyone to step up again without CJ Stroud because 8-6, I mean, it's tough to lose this game. Like you can't lose this game. You go to 8-7, and now you know,
Let me look at who the
you're
Colts play.
they play the at Atlanta Falcons, so they're going to Atlanta to play the Falcons with Taylor Heineke. You don't know what the hell you're going to get from the Falcons. You do know you might get horrible football, which will happen for most of the time, but then every once in a while they might just pull a rabbit out of their hats and do
And
something.
then Jags play Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's the big one. Should possibly be no Trevor Lawrence for the game. Tampa Bay's playing some solid football. Baker Mayfield will compete. I'll give him that. But the Houston Texans, you got to take care of business. You can't really take a loss here, man. You can't. I mean, if the Colts win against the Falcons, which they should, and you lose, well, they're they're going to be one game ahead of you, man. Like, and that's not what
That's
you
why I'm
want.
feeling confident in this game because I just saw my coaching staff one hand tied behind their back, and they were able to grind out a win. Now they should have known that we may not have CJ Stroud for 2 weeks, maybe even more. I have faith that his coaching staff does good, and
Yes.
on Tennessee, everybody on the spaces was saying this is where D'Amico Ryan shows his worth. So many injuries, no QB. Like I said, we could go on and on with the injury list, but he does it again. I mean, we're talking about coach of the year, and I feel like he might do it again because he just showed us he could. And D'Amico Ryans has shown all year that not only can he bounce back from situations, but he could play pretty damn good football. And I think this team is motivated after a win like last week. And, hopefully the crowd gets involved on Sunday as well. But like you said, D'Amico Ryans, you have to do it again, bud. And if he does, I mean, you found your guy. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. You found your coach.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I knew this the day they hired him. I mean, I felt it. I felt a certain way when D'Amico Ryans got hired.
Mm.
That's obviously the guy that I wanted them to hire, and I absolutely love that they did hire him. And you heard me. I had the spaces with Storm and a bunch of other people. First thing I said, D'Amico Ryans will win the Houston Texans a Super Bowl someday in his coaching tenure.
Mm.
And I stand on that. I believe it. He's a hell of a coach. It's no disrespect to any of the other teams. It's obviously going to be hard. We've never been. How can you say that? I have this belief in D'Amico Ryans, and I think it's going to happen. It's just my opinion.
Score prediction. Do you want to give one already?
I don't know if I have a score prediction. I'll be honest.
I
This is
got
tough for me. It really is.
17-14.
17-14. Yeah,
It's gonna come down to the very end once again, and
yeah.
Fairbairn's gonna win it for you,
Oof. Fairbairn MVP back to back.
dude. I mean, you caught it. You said on
Yep.
your video call. I went back to watch it. You said 4 field goals. On mine, I had the wrong score, but I said, you know who wins the game for you? Kaimi Fairbairn.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to happen that way on Sunday. And it would just be so poetic, man. Also, the Cleveland Browns own your first round pick. So it would be nice to give them a L. It would be nice to help your
Yeah.
draft standings just a little bit. Um, DJ Rock, he said, this is definitely going to have to be a complete team effort on both sides of the football, even your special teams. You have to be on point. Um, Now we get back into this question. Harley, where does this game rank in terms of big games for the Houston Texans? Because we have been saying this is a big game. This is a must win pretty much for the last 2 months.
It feels like almost every week now. This is a big game for the Texans, or this is a must-win game for the Texans. They put themselves in this situation by losing to the Panthers, losing to the
Mhm.
Falcons, hell, losing to the Jets. These are teams you shouldn't have lost to. You absolutely got embarrassed by the Jets. I mean, come on, there wasn't anybody really expecting that, and so the Houston Texans put themselves in this situation, and now it's time to get out of it. And that's why, we continuously say, hey, this is a big game for the Texans. This is a must win for the Texans. I'm going to categorize it as a must win for the Texans. It would help bode for their future playoff chances.
Yes.
It would be nice to stay tied with the Colts, because I think the Colts are going to whoop the Falcons' ass. I'm going to be honest. I think
And I do too.
the Falcons don't. I see the Raiders, which is the next week, and I know they're going to be at home playing the Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders.
Clowney's on the Ravens.
But what's that?
I'm responding to the comment. Clowney's on the Ravens.
Oh yeah. What was I going to say? Wow, lost my train of thought. Rip.
I do apologize.
No, you're good. The Browns do have Clowney. I did lose my train of thought. I was going to say something, and then it went away.
No, damn it, Nicholas.
Regardless, the big game thing with the Houston Texans, I think it's a must-win game. Is it the biggest game of the season? No, it's not the biggest game of the season. No, I don't believe that, because even you can see, this is what's so fun about this year.
Go ahead.
This is what's so fun. Obviously our expectations have risen,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, you can always fall back to the happy zone. And your happy place is, well, we've exceeded expectations this year. You can always.
I don't want to
fall
do
back
that
on
just yet.
I
don't
know, I
wanna
know,
do
I
that just
know.
yet.
I'm not going there just yet. But if nothing happens, come on now. I mean, you could always fall back to the
I'm proud of this
we
team.
proud of this team. So that's what's so good about this year is, you're kind of on cloud nine as a Texans fan, because
Mhm.
you weren't supposed to be here. I mean, come on, 7 wins in the past 2 years. I didn't expect D'Amico to have this kind of impressive transformation
Immediate
of the
success.
Houston Texans. And, that also helps with CJ Stroud playing at an
Phenomenal.
MVP candidate level. That's always helpful. But yeah, the Houston Texans definitely, they have a big game this Sunday, but it's not, to me, the biggest game. It'd be bigger if Deshaun was playing.
I wonder what would be the chances, like our percentage chances, if we don't win this football game.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see a tweet on that. Maybe it comes out later this week or
Mhm.
Sunday, maybe. I didn't see a tweet of, if you win, this is the percentage you make the playoffs. If you lose, this is the percentage you make the playoffs. Like,
We also need the Bengals to lose as well.
goddamn Vikings. They didn't do the damn job last week, man.
I mean, this is gonna come down to the wire, bro.
Yeah,
This is gonna
it
come
is.
down, and I think it's gonna be Texans Colts fighting for the AFC South in Week 18.
What was my hot take prediction?
You said it.
My hot take prediction. I had the Houston Texans. So, did you want the good one or the bad one? Because I had 2 of them.
You had
And
record predictions.
So I had a 9. So my record prediction was 5 wins, and
Okay.
obviously we exceeded that. But my hot take was we go 9-8, and the Houston Texans.
You bastard! I
You remember
remember
it.
what you said.
CMDSR is going to love my hot take. Here, listen up.
Go ahead. He did
So the
say this.
Houston, this is what I said. The Houston Texans were going to go tie with, or they were going to tie with the Colts or whatever. They're going to have last week against the Colts for the division, right?
Mm,
And I said that the Houston Texans were going to lose that game because that's Houston sports. Because last year, you were supposed to lose that game
mm-hmm,
and you won, supposedly. That was the narrative. Fast forward to now this year, you're supposed to win that game and
mm-hmm.
you lose. And that's Houston sports for you. That's Houston sports heartbreak because that is, if anybody is a Houston sports fan, they know Astros, Rockets, Texans, there is continuous heartbreak over and over and over as a Houston sports fan. And it just makes so much sense in the world for the Houston Texans to lose to the Indianapolis Colts. And it would break my heart so bad. It really would. But I didn't expect this kind of year from the Houston Texans. I'll
Mm.
say that. And they do feel different. You know, they do feel not the team. Like my expectations, if they exceeded it, was yes, CJ Stroud's got to be playing really good. I didn't expect them MVP level. But I was expecting, the defense to consistently play D'Amico style football. They haven't done that for all of the year. But some of the games, yeah, we've seen glimpses of it. I obviously in that hot take prediction, I thought, hey, maybe Will Anderson has a rookie year sensation like CJ Stroud is doing.
Hey,
So
we said 10 sacks, and he's at 7.
wow, pretty good, man. Pretty good
Hey,
for some guys that saw him every day at training camp
I
almost.
went back and looked at my predictions for the season.
Wow, 10-7. Look at you.
Yes, sir. But
10
I
and 7.
mean, and this is from Texans 22. If we lose to the Browns but win against the Colts and Titans, we have a 97% chance of making the wild card spot. So maybe this isn't the big game like I thought we were going to enter. And shout out to Texans all 22. He said this is according to the New York Times
Yeah.
playoff simulator. This is the stuff we have to do now with the Houston Texans, ladies and gentlemen. The times of losing games and worrying about where you're
That's
going to
right.
be in the draft is over. For the
Yeah.
foreseeable future, you will be looking at playoff standings, you will be looking at records, you will be looking at tiebreakers because this Houston Texans team will be consistently winning games, will be consistently in the postseason. And dude, I'm just freaking hype. Izzy 26 blessed Harley, what the F? Don't say that, man. We don't need the negativity, but look, he said it all the way back, way in the off season, way in the off season. Um, cannot believe we're in this situation, bro. We
uh, I can't either. It's fun to be in this situation again. It's
Mhm.
fun to have games where I'm sitting on the edge of my seat and I am shaking and I have bitten all my nails off my fingers. Like it's fun to be in that situation again. It's fun to be back in the realm of 32 and it's fun to be playing relevant football again.
Mm.
I'm excited for the future.
I mean, you were here during the stream, bro. Our hearts were beating out of our chests. It was so intense in the room. You could feel like the heat emitting off every single one of us. But and shout out to everyone who was on the stream watching the game with us, man. To the very end, Houston Texans win against the Tennessee Titans. But I feel like we deserve to be here, brother. And the last 2 years, the last really 3 years or four were just horrible. We knew what was going on, and we try to, we try to paint a picture over a piece of shit. We try to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. Shout out to Brock Lesnar for the quote right there. And now I feel like we got something. And man, I don't know, dude. I feel really confident that the Houston Texans win this game. Dude, they could win it 10-7, 3-0.
I don't
I
care.
don't give
Get
a
the dub.
damn. Get the dub. And there's and just imagine the talks that happen if you win this game. Because hardly the whole year this Houston Texans team has not once played a full game 100% healthy. Just think about when we finally do that. And it might happen next season. That's just the reality where we're in. It's going to
Yeah.
happen next season.
Yes.
But just imagine with more pieces on free agency, more pieces there in the draft. Man, I am excited for the future of this Houston Texans team.
Yeah, I mean, I am too. Obviously, the Houston Texans have a bright future, and it all started with knocking it out of the park with getting D'Amico Ryans and
Mm-hmm.
C.J. Stroud, and that obviously having the quarterback head coach duo of the future definitely sets up your franchise for gobs of success. So
Do you remember the moments leading up to CJ being drafted and then the trade up for Will Anderson Jr.?
yes, absolutely. I'm honest. I don't care. Like I wasn't the biggest C.J. Stroud guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll be honest, I was not. The only thing I clinged on to was he's super accurate. And in this system, in a Kubiak system, it's very beneficial to have an accurate quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And CJ had that. Now, I didn't know he was going to perform like this. I didn't
Mm-mm.
know mentally he was going to process defenses at
Dissect them, dude.
yeah, at top 10 quarterback levels. Like nobody expected that. But man, it feels good to have this happen. It feels good that you traded up for Will Anderson and you got him, you know, tearing up the game in a different way. It's not with just sacks, but it's with constant pressure. It's with quarterback hits, quarterback hurries. It's with stopping the run consistently every time. You know, for the two questions you had, Adrian, what you think is Stroud for sure out? Yeah, it's starting to be confirmed amongst across all local media guys. Aaron Wilson was the first one. DJ Bieniemy seconded that. You've had others agreed. Aaron Wilson did say on Monday that he is, if he had to grade him, he would be questionable. Things can change, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like Case Keenum is going to be your starting quarterback this Sunday. And then the expectations for Kenyon Green next year,
Play football.
I'll just yeah, I'll answer it quickly. The job is up for grabs for left guard. I'll say that. But Kenyon Green, I mean, he better play his ass off.
Mm-hmm.
He better play and perform like the 15 pick overall. He better play and perform like the first guard drafted in that draft if he wants his job. Because
Oh,
there is certainly some depth at guard right now. Whether it's Josh Jones, whether it's Jarrett Patterson, whether it's Kendrick Green, who actually played well for you in his short time here, actually played really well. And then I'll let you answer that question right there because I know you love to talk about G
look, man.
Town.
I love Mike Evans. I love the fact that he's from the H. We're not from the H. He's from Galvey. But we're talking about a Hall of Fame wide receiver. We're talking about a dude who's had 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons. To be honest, do not think the Texans will be able to afford Mike Evans in terms of. I don't think wide receiver is our biggest need now. I do
Mm,
think it is defensive tackle. I do think it is safety. So I love Mike Evans. Maybe if he would have ended the season off the hamstring injury he suffered in the middle, maybe we could afford about talking about him. But nah, this dude has already, gotten to the point where it's just not going to be smart if you give him the contract. The Texans can't afford anyone they want to this year, but at this point, it's a matter of getting who you think can get you to the Super Bowl. Because what you've showed is with this roster right now, you could fight for the playoffs. That's what they
yeah,
have showed you. Adding in free agency, and I think we're all expecting this free agency to be a splash. I am not expecting Nick Casario to sit on his hands. I am expecting him to go after the premier talent in free agency. I think the draft, he might go BPA, best player available.
yeah.
And like you said, next year, I think this Texans team is gonna be contending ASAP.
I mean, I mentioned the the Connor Barman Brooks Reed earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Why not go into how that whole team started and go into the offseason of Rick Smith grabbing Jonathan Joseph and Daniel Manning, your best free agency ever in Texans history? I mean, if Nick Casario can duplicate anything like that, both of those guys transcended your defense were staples of your defense for a few years. Uh, why not have Nick Caserio replicate it,
Mm-hmm.
keep it going, do his thing, and hopefully, you grab, man, obviously a few positions are worrisome, the most worrisome. But I mean, I would say I'm right there with your interior defensive line. You need help on the interior defensive line. No offense to Rankins or Malik Collins. These guys aren't world beaters. Rankins has had a few games here and there where you're like, wow, where's this been? But, you obviously can improve there and you want to get younger. You really need to get, an influx of talent, and you need to inject some more youth into the team. Linebacker position obviously is a big one, just because you're not going to have Blake Cashman this week, and that's somebody that's your really, really bright spot for the linebacker career.
Yes.
Christian Harris has been strong these last few weeks. Take the Jets game out, besides the Jets game, he's been fantastic for you, and he's really looking like, oh, okay, this is what a season of DeMeco Ryans is looking like for
Yeah.
Christian Harris. Again, just absolutely fantastic. Houston Texans, I ain't got no no score prediction right now, but I will say I am going to lean that they win this game.
Ooh. Doesn't have a score prediction right now. Before we end this stream, Jonathan asked, would we be okay with a winning record but missing the playoffs? I would be okay with it. I'm already okay with the way this season has gone. Would it sting? Absolutely. And I will be saying for the rest of my life that if we would have been in the playoffs, we would have gone to the Super Bowl. That's what you would have heard me said. However, in the gist of it, man, this is supposed to be a throwaway year. This was supposed to be see what you have. We were not expecting this roster to be competing for the postseason, to be competing for first place in the AFC South. And with 3 games left in the season, that dream is still a reality. And like Texans All 22 said, even if we lose this game, you beat the Titans, you beat the Colts, you're still a 97% chance of making the playoffs. Dude, just shout out to the Houston Texans. My final score prediction, I'm gonna go ahead and go 14-17. Houston Texans win. And before we end, Harley, you have just hit 5,000 subscribers. And I want to tell you how proud of you I am, not only as a colleague, but as a friend. We go all the way back to in high school where we were in Mr. Barbieri's Spanish class with Miss Ingles. And now we will talk about is Houston Texans football with Ryan Fitzpatrick as our quarterback. You have done a fantastic job, Harley. I guess I can say you are now we are now one of the OGs.
Yeah,
We
feels weird.
it does feel weird with us still being around 25, 26,
Yeah.
but congratulations on 5,000. I cannot wait for the 5, 10, 15,000 more that you were going to get in the next up and coming years. Brother, I love you. I'm so happy for you, and keep on grinding.
Thank you, man. I do appreciate it. Appreciate everybody that has liked, commented, subscribed. We have achieved the 5,000-yard marker. The goal for me this year was 3K. That
Nice.
was my goal. Absolutely shattered it.
We talked about our goals.
Yes.
We
And I
did.
told you, 3K was my goal for the end of the year. I was at I would have to look up my
Like
photos.
2.4.
Maybe, I think I was less than that. And I'd have to take a look at the photos at the beginning of the year. And so shattering 3K and reaching almost double, more than double actually, than what I thought I could do. So I appreciate getting to 5K. Appreciate everybody that has been on the journey with me. Appreciate the kind words, my guy. Hey, on the road to 8,000 subscribers now. That's the next goal, is 8,000 subscribers. And I cannot appreciate people enough. All the people that have helped me, along with yourself, everyone that's came onto the channel, Crump, Storm, hell, young Ari Gold, the old James,
Cody,
you know,
Kenneth, I could go on and on.
Kenny, yeah, Coyote, Jordan Pune from Texans Thoughts, fantastic. Having Texans Unfiltered, having a bunch of the other guys. Hell, Jake Assman on there. I'll throw his name in there. Um, I've had a bunch of people on the channel. I used to get guests all the time, and so appreciate everyone that's gave me advice. Figgy Fig was the biggest one
Dude,
when I
for
first
me, it was
started.
Andrew Locker. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Figgy's the one that gave me the most advice when I first started. I messaged him right away. I didn't know Figgy Fig. I just heard him on as a sports producer for
Mhm.
610. He messages me back immediately, watches the YouTube channel, and he said, "Look, this is what you can do. Tweak it like this, and this." Okay, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Locker gave me the asshole criticism that I needed. Actually, I thought,
Exactly.
like, I'll be honest, and just to go on a quick rant, but I mean, I was a guy in school that people were like, "Oh, I don't know, just ask Harley," because it was always, "Oh, Harley knows," you know. And then I'm doing a video, and Locker's telling me, "Dude, this isn't right. That's not right. That's not right." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" You know. And I'm re-watched the video, and I'm like, "Oh crap, I don't know everything off the top of my dome. Like, I
Yeah.
should take another look at this." So
Mhm.
again, I do appreciate everybody that's watched. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to the lead at the lead underscore HOU. On the road to 8,000 subscribers now. And make sure if you missed this episode, go ahead and check us out on Spotify, anywhere where you stream all your podcasting platforms, Google, Apple Podcasts, and you can catch the audio anywhere there. Believe in Texans, just how it's spelled up here. No, it's not supposed to mean believe. It is spelled BLEAV for my funny folk out there that did not understand it. This is a network, and we do appreciate everybody that has watched. Go ahead and hit that like button. Help us help you and push us through that algorithm.
And me myself, we just hit 9,000 here on the channel on Sunday.
Oof.
And thank you for everyone, like Hardy just said, who has watched, who has liked, commented, who has hated even. We would not be here
Yeah,
without you guys. For the amount of people that have come up to us at training camp, take pictures, autograph, that really does mean a lot to us, man. We try to be as real as we can. We try to be authentic. We're not paid by no one. Me and Harley still have full-time job. We do this out of our love for this football team. And for the first 22 years, what we were getting back was dysfunctional, was losses, was not knowing what's going on. And I'm so happy that now we're both at the part of our channels where we get to be some of the main guys to talk about this Houston Texans team being on the absolute rise, man. And once again, shout out to the fans, because we will not be nowhere without you guys. And shout out to the other Houston Texans content creator. We had
yeah,
Texans 22. We had H-Town Rundown. We have another Texans podcast. We have Locked On Texans. We have Texans Fan Battle. We got Saw Sports, the original gangsters on here. So shout out to everyone, man, who really does Houston Texans content. And we're going to keep it going. We don't leave. We do
no,
not leave. We are here when we are losing. We are definitely going to be here when we are winning. And for more Houston Texans content, you guys know what to do. You follow Harley Dugan. You follow Ruben Calvillo. Guys, it is Wednesday. Have a happy holidays. If
mm,
we do not have an episode by Christmas or by New Year, you guys deserve to have a fantastic year in 2025. It is your year.
24.
24.
This man's time traveling.
Proclaim it, manifest it. 2024 is the year for Houston Texans fans. Guys, I am Ruben. That is Harley. Have a